The air inside the Galactic Council chamber felt heavy. Ambassador Elena Reeves stood at the speaking platform. Her hands held a data tablet. Around her, representatives from 40 different alien species watched from their seats. Some looked bored. Others whispered to each other. Elena pressed a button. Holographic images appeared above her. They showed destroyed ships, burning space stations, bodies floating in the void. "These are human colonies," Elena said. Her voice was calm, but her jaw was tight. Colony 7, New Perth, Harmony Station, all attacked in the past month. All destroyed by Zelvari forces. The Zelvari representative stood up. He was tall with gray skin and 4 arms. His name was Warmaster Kreltok. He smiled, showing sharp teeth. "Yes, we destroyed them," Kreltok said. He did not sound sorry. "The treaty you mention is old. It is worthless. Humanity is weak. Why should we honor agreements with the weak?" Gasps filled the chamber. Elena felt her hands shake. She forced them to stay still. "You admit to breaking the non-aggression treaty of 2187? Elena asked. "I admit nothing," Kreltok laughed. "I simply state facts. Your people settled in space we wanted. They refused to leave. We removed them. This is not breaking a treaty. This is natural order." Elena looked at the council speaker. The speaker was an old Vran with blue scales. He sat on a raised platform. "Council speaker," Elena said. "The Zelvari have killed over 50,000 human civilians. They have violated treaties. They must face consequences." The speaker looked tired. He tapped his claws on his desk. "The council has heard your complaint, Ambassador Reeves. However, this appears to be an internal dispute between 2 species. The council does not involve itself in such matters unless all galactic peace is threatened. 50,000 dead is not enough." Elena's voice rose. "The galaxy is large, Ambassador. Species conflicts happen. The council cannot police every disagreement." The speaker looked away. "This session is closed." Elena stood frozen. Around her, the other representatives began to leave. Some looked at her with pity. Others avoided her eyes. Kreltok walked past her. He leaned close and whispered, "Your species should have stayed on your little planet. Now you will learn what happens to those who reach beyond their place." Elena did not respond. She walked back to the human delegation area. Her assistant was waiting. "They refused to help," the assistant said. It was not a question. "Yes," Elena said. She opened her secure communicator. Her fingers moved quickly. "Get me Admiral Chen, Priority Alpha." 3 minutes later, a hologram appeared. Admiral Marcus Chen had gray hair and dark eyes. Scars crossed his face. He had been a soldier for 40 years. "Ambassador," he said, "I saw the council session." "I take it we are on our own." "The council will not act," Elena said. "The Zelvari have declared the treaty void. They are attacking our colonies without fear of consequences." Admiral Chen was quiet for a moment. His jaw tightened. "How many more colonies have they hit?" 2 more in the last 6 hours. New Oslo and Titan's Hope. Civilian transports destroyed. No survivors." The Admiral closed his eyes. Elena knew what he was thinking. His wife and daughter had died at Colony 7. The first Zelvari attack. "Admiral," Elena said softly, "I need you to be clear-headed for this." Chen opened his eyes. They were cold now, focused. "I am clear-headed, Ambassador. Crystal clear. We tried peace. We followed their rules. We trusted their counsel, and our people died because of it." "Then you have my authorization," Elena said. "Protocol Vendetta is approved." Admiral Chen straightened. Something changed in his posture. He looked years younger. More dangerous. Understood. How far can I go? Elena took a deep breath. She thought about the bodies floating in space. The children who would never grow up. The families torn apart as far as necessary, she said. The Zelvari wanted to see what humanity is capable of. "Show them," Admiral Chen smiled. It was not a kind smile. "With pleasure, Ambassador." Chen out. The hologram vanished. Elena sat down. Her assistant stood nearby. "What happens now?" the assistant asked. Elena looked out the window at the stars. "Now," she said quietly, "the galaxy learns that humanity does not need the Council's protection, and the Zelvari learn what it means to wake a sleeping giant." Across human space, silent shipyards began to light up. Weapons systems that had been dormant for decades came online. Soldiers who had been waiting their whole careers received activation orders. The Zelvari had broken the treaty. They had laughed at humanity's weakness. They had murdered civilians without mercy. Now they would learn that humanity's greatest strength was not in following rules. It was in knowing when to break them. And when humanity went to war, it did not go halfway. The fury was about to be unleashed. Admiral Marcus Chen stood in the command center of Orbital Station Prometheus. The station floated in the darkness between Neptune and Pluto. Most people did not know it existed. That was exactly how humanity wanted it. Around him, screens lit up one by one. Officers moved to their stations. They had been waiting for this moment, some for years, some for their entire careers. "Status report," Chen said. A young officer turned. "All hidden shipyards are coming online, sir. The yards at Titan, Europa, and the Kuiper Belt are activating their production lines." Chen nodded. The other galactic species thought humanity only had a small defense fleet. They thought humans were peaceful, harmless. They were wrong. For 200 years, humanity had been preparing. They had built shipyards in secret. They had developed weapons that broke galactic conventions. They had studied every species they met, learned their tactics, understood their weaknesses. Peace was the goal. But war was always the backup plan. "Show me the fleet," Chen said. The main screen changed. It showed hundreds of ships. They were not the slow cargo vessels other species knew. These were warships. Fast. Deadly. Armed with weapons the galaxy had never seen. Chen looked at the ships. Each one carried the name of a colony the Zelvari had destroyed. Colony 7, New Perth, Harmony Station, New Oslo, Titan's Hope. His eyes stopped on one ship. The largest. The word Remembrance was written on its side. That was his ship. The ship he would use to make the Zelvari pay. A door opened. Commander Sarah Walsh walked in. She was Chen's second in command. She had lost her brother at New Perth. "The crews are ready, Admiral. All ships are armed and fueled. We can launch within the hour." Chen was quiet for a moment. He remembered his wife, her smile, his daughter, her laugh. Both gone now, killed when the Zelvari attacked Colony 7. He had been at a meeting that day. Light years away, safe. While his family burned, "Admiral," Walsh said gently, "are you all right?" Chen shook his head. "No, I am not all right. But I am focused. And that is what matters." He turned to face the crew. "Listen carefully, all of you. What we are about to do will change everything. The galaxy thinks humans are weak. They think we follow their rules because we have no choice. Today, we show them the truth." He pressed a button. Images appeared. Zelvari warships, their weapons, their tactics, their weaknesses. The Zelvari fight with honor. They announce their attacks. They fight head-on. They believe in strength and glory. This makes them predictable. This makes them vulnerable. Chen pressed another button. Human ships appeared. They looked different, smaller, faster, covered in strange equipment. We do not fight with honor. We fight to win. We use stealth. We use speed. We attack supply lines. We hit them where they are weak. We make them afraid. An officer raised his hand. "Sir, the Galactic Convention on Warfare forbids many of these tactics." Chen smiled coldly. "The Zelvari broke the treaty. They killed our civilians. They laughed at our complaints. The convention is dead. We will do whatever is necessary to protect humanity." He looked at each person in the room. Some looked worried. Others looked eager. All looked determined. "Our first target is the Zelvari supply depot at Gamma Station. It supplies their entire eastern fleet. Without it, they cannot continue their attacks on our colonies." Walsh stepped forward. "How do we approach without being detected?" Chen pressed another button. A map appeared. "We do not approach. We are already there. 3 days ago, we placed mines throughout the station's shipping lanes. We have hacked their communication systems. We have identified every ship, every weapon, every weakness." He paused. "At exactly 0800 hours, those mines will activate. The station will be crippled. Then, Strike Team Alpha will move in. They will destroy the fuel reserves and weapon stockpiles. The entire operation will take less than 10 minutes. "What about their garrison?" someone asked. There are over 5,000 Zelvari soldiers on that station. Chen's face was hard. They will be given one chance to surrender. If they refuse, they will share the fate they gave our people at Colony 7. The room was silent. Walsh spoke quietly. Admiral, once we do this, there is no going back. The galaxy will see us differently. Some will fear us. Some will hate us. Chen nodded. I know. But I would rather be feared than pitied. I would rather be hated than ignored. The Zelvari made a mistake. They thought our kindness was weakness. They thought our patience was cowardice. Today they learned the truth. He turned to the main screen. Begin the countdown. All ships to battle stations. This is not a drill. This is war. Around him, alarms began to sound. Not emergency alarms. Battle alarms. Officers moved with purpose. Every person knew their job. Chen sat in his command chair. He looked at the picture he kept in his pocket. His wife and daughter. Smiling. Happy. Alive. Not anymore. He put the picture away. His hand moved to the communication button. This is Admiral Marcus Chen to all ships. Today, humanity stops asking for justice. Today we take it. The Zelvari broke the treaty. They killed our people. They laughed at our pain. Now we show them what happens when you anger the human race. He paused. His voice became harder. Remember who we fight for. Remember why we fight. Remember that every Zelvari ship, every Zelvari station, every Zelvari soldier is built on the deaths of our families, our friends, our future. Final pause. And remember this. We do not fight for conquest. We do not fight for glory. We fight for survival. We fight so that no more colonies burn. No more families die. No more children cry for parents who will never come home. He pressed the button. Operation Fury is go. All ships launch. Show them what humanity is capable of. The ships began to move. Silent. Deadly. Beautiful. Chen watched them go. Far away at Gamma Station, Zelvari soldiers laughed and joked. They did not know that death was already in their hallways, already in their systems, already counting down. In 8 hours, the galaxy would learn that humanity was no longer prey. They were the predators now, and the hunt had just begun. The Zelvari commander at Gamma Station was eating his morning meal when the first explosion hit. The walls shook. Alarm screamed. His food fell to the floor. Report! He shouted into his communicator static. Then a young voice panicked. Sir! The shipping lanes. They are full of mines. We have lost 6 cargo ships. No, 8 ships. No, the count keeps rising. The commander ran to the command center. Around him, Zelvari soldiers were rushing to battle stations. But something was wrong. The lights kept flickering. The doors were opening and closing randomly. What is happening to our systems? The commander demanded. A technician looked up. His face was pale. Sir, we have been hacked. Our entire network is compromised. I cannot control anything. By who? Who would dare? Before anyone could answer, the main screen turned on. It showed a human face. Admiral Marcus Chen, Gamma Station, Chen said. His voice was calm. Cold. This is Admiral Chen of the Human Defense Fleet. You have 60 seconds to evacuate all personnel and surrender. If you refuse, we will destroy the station. The Zelvari commander laughed. You dare threaten us? You are nothing. We destroyed your colonies like insects. What can you possibly do to us? Chen did not smile. You will find out. 50 seconds. The commander turned to his weapons officer. Fire on any human ships in range. Destroy them. The weapons officer pressed buttons. Nothing happened. Sir, the weapons are offline. I cannot activate them, then activate the shields. The shields are offline as well. Everything is offline. Chen's voice came again. 30 seconds. I suggest you start running. The commander felt something he had not felt in years. Fear. Evacuate. He screamed. All personnel evacuate now. But it was too late. Outside the station, in the darkness of space, human ships appeared. They were small, fast. They moved like hunters. The lead ship fired, but not at the station. At the fuel depot beside it, the explosion was massive. It lit up the entire sector. The fuel depot turned into a ball of fire. The flames spread to the nearby weapon storage. More explosions, bigger, brighter. Inside the station, Zelvari soldiers ran for the escape pods. But half the pods would not launch. The humans had disabled them. The commander made it to a pod. He launched into space. Behind him, Gamma Station was being torn apart, not by direct attacks, but by its own fuel and weapons detonating. As his pod drifted away, he saw the human ships. They were not chasing the escape pods. They were not firing on survivors. They were destroying supply ships, fuel carriers, weapon transports. They were crippling the entire Zelvari Eastern Fleet, and they were doing it in less than 10 minutes. The battle at Gamma Station was only the beginning. Across Zelvari territory, human strike teams hit supply depots, communication relays, and logistics centers. They did not attack military bases head-on. They attacked the systems that kept those bases running. No fuel meant no ships. No communications meant no coordination. No supplies meant no ammunition. The Zelvari tried to fight back. They sent their proud warships to hunt the humans. But the human ships were too fast, too small. They would appear, strike, and vanish before the Zelvari could respond. In the Proxima sector, a Zelvari battle group found a human ship. They surrounded it, prepared to destroy it. Victory seemed certain. Then the human ship sent a message. "Thank you for gathering in one place. It makes this easier." Before the Zelvari could respond, 50 human ships appeared. They had been hiding, waiting. The battle was brutal and short. The Zelvari ships were powerful, but they were designed for frontal combat, honor duels. The humans did not fight with honor. They used swarm tactics, coordinated attacks. They targeted engines, weapons, life support. When it was over, the Zelvari battle group was gone. Not one ship survived. The humans broadcast the battle across the galaxy. They wanted everyone to see. On the Galactic Council station, ambassadors watched in silence. Some were shocked. Others were secretly pleased. The Zelvari had bullied the galaxy for too long. War Master Kreltok watched the broadcast in his private chambers. His hands shook with rage. "Impossible," he muttered. "They are humans, weak, soft. How are they doing this?" His aide stood nearby. "Sir, our intelligence was wrong. The humans have been building a war fleet for decades. They have weapons we have never seen. Tactics we cannot predict. Then we send more ships, more soldiers. We will crush them with numbers." The aide hesitated. "Sir, we have a problem. Our supply lines are collapsing. The attacks on our depots have left our fleets without fuel or ammunition. If we send more ships, they will run out of resources before they even reach human space." Kreltok stood up. His forearms clenched into fists. "Then we attack their homeworld, Earth. We destroy it. End this war before it spreads." The aide looked terrified. "Sir, Earth is heavily defended, and our scouts report that the humans have placed weapons platforms throughout their solar system. Approaching Earth would be suicide." Kreltok grabbed the aide by the throat. "Then what do you suggest? That we surrender? That we admit defeat to these insects?" The aide could not answer. Kreltok threw him to the floor. "Get out. All of you, leave me." When he was alone, Kreltok sat down. For the first time in his life, he felt doubt. The Zelvari had conquered dozens of species. They had ruled through strength and fear. But the humans were different. They did not fear the Zelvari. They were making the Zelvari fear them. Across the galaxy, other species watched. Some began to send secret messages to humanity, offering intelligence, sharing Zelvari positions. Nobody said it out loud, but everyone was thinking the same thing. The Zelvari had gone too far, and humanity was making them pay. On the Remembrance, Admiral Chen studied the latest reports. The strikes were working. The Zelvari were disorganized, confused, angry. Good, he thought. Let them be angry. Anger makes mistakes. Commander Walsh approached. "Admiral, we are receiving surrender requests from multiple Zelvari outposts. They want to negotiate." Chen was quiet for a moment. "What are our orders, sir?" Chen thought about his wife, his daughter, the 50,000 dead civilians. Then he thought about the Zelvari soldiers in those outposts. Young, scared, following orders. "Accept their surrenders," he said. "Take them prisoner. Treat them according to galactic conventions. But make it clear, we will accept nothing less than total Zelvari capitulation. The war ends when they surrender completely." "Not before," Walsh nodded. "Understood, sir. There is something else. The galaxy is watching us. Every battle is being broadcast. Some species are calling us heroes. Others are calling us monsters. Chen looked out at the stars. Let them call us what they want. The Zelvari called us weak. Now they know better. History will judge us. But first, we must survive to write that history. He turned back to the command center. Prepare the fleet. Our next target is the Zelvari fuel refineries at Alpha Centauri. Without fuel, their armada is just floating metal. We take that away. We take their ability to wage war. Walsh saluted. Yes, sir. Admiral, do you think we can actually win this? Chen looked at her. I think we already are. The Galactic Council met in emergency session. The Great Hall was filled with representatives from every member species. The air was thick with tension. Ambassador Eleanor Reeves stood at the human platform. She looked different now. More confident. Less apologetic, the council speaker banged his staff. Order! We are here to discuss the ongoing conflict between humanity and the Zelvari hegemony. A tall alien with purple skin stood up. The Zelvari representative. Not Kreltuk. He had been recalled in disgrace. This was Ambassador Thelkar. The humans are war criminals. Thelkar shouted. They attack civilian targets. They use forbidden weapons. They must be stopped. Elena remained calm. Interesting. When the Zelvari destroyed our civilian colonies, you said it was an internal dispute. Now that we fight back, suddenly you care about civilians? Murmurs spread through the hall. Thelkar pointed at her. You have destroyed 17 of our supply stations. You have crippled our fleet. You have killed thousands. Elena's eyes were cold. You killed 50,000 of our people. You attacked civilian transports. You bombed colony domes full of families. And when we came here for help, you laughed. You said we were weak. Too insignificant to matter, she paused. Well, do we matter now? The council speaker raised his hand. Ambassador Reeves, the council is concerned about the tactics your fleet is using. Many are considered violations of the Galactic Convention on Warfare. Elena looked around the room. The convention. The same convention the Zelvari ignored when they attacked us. The same convention this council refused to enforce. Now you want us to follow it? A small alien stood up. He was from the Myron Federation. We understand your anger, Ambassador. But if you continue this path, you risk becoming as bad as the Zelvari. Elena turned to face him. We do not target civilians. Every Zelvari who has surrendered has been treated with dignity. We follow the rules of war. But we will not lose because we are afraid to fight. Another ambassador spoke. This one was from the Kryn Republic. I must confess I am impressed. The Zelvari have bullied this galaxy for centuries. No one has ever stood up to them like this. You cannot praise this, Thelkar screamed. They are making war on us. The Kryn ambassador smiled. You made war on them first. They are simply finishing what you started. The council speaker banged his staff again. Enough, we will not debate morality. We must discuss a ceasefire. Both sides must stop fighting. Elena shook her head. No. The room went silent. No? The speaker asked. You refuse? I refuse a ceasefire. The Zelvari broke the treaty. They attacked us. They killed our people. A ceasefire means nothing to them. They will use it to rearm, to rebuild, to attack us again when we are weak. Then what do you want? The speaker asked. Elena's voice was hard. Total Zelvari surrender. They must disarm. They must pay reparations. They must accept permanent observers to ensure they never do this again. Nothing less impossible, Thelkar shouted. We would never agree to such terms. Then the war continues, Elena said simply. And your people keep dying. Thelkar looked at the other ambassadors. Help us, you cannot let them do this. But the other ambassadors were quiet. Some looked away. Others seemed to be thinking. A very old alien stood up slowly. She was from the eldest species. They rarely spoke. When they did, everyone listened. Young Zelvari, she said. Her voice was ancient, tired. Your people have caused much pain in this galaxy. You have conquered. You have oppressed. You have killed. All because you believed you were strong. She looked at Elena. And young human. Your people have shown that there is a different kind of strength. Not the strength of conquest, but the strength of will. The strength to survive. She turned back to the council. I propose we do nothing. Let these two species settle their dispute. The Zelvari started this war. Let them end it by accepting the human terms or by accepting defeat. Several ambassadors nodded. The speaker looked uncomfortable. Very well. The Council will not intervene. This matter is between humanity and the Zelvari. Belkar looked betrayed. You abandon us? The speaker met his eyes. You abandoned the rules of this council when you broke the treaty. You cannot ask for protection from laws you refuse to follow. The session ended. Elena walked out of the hall. In the corridor, several ambassadors approached her. They spoke quietly. We cannot help you publicly, one said. But we can provide information, Zelvari ship movements, fleet positions. Would this be useful? Elena nodded. Very useful. Thank you. Another ambassador stepped forward. My people have no love for the Zelvari. They destroyed one of our colonies decades ago. We did not have the strength to fight back. Thank you for doing what we could not. Elena felt a strange mixture of emotions. Pride, sadness, determination. We do not fight for revenge, she said. We fight for survival. But if our fight helps others, then perhaps some good can come from this tragedy. Meanwhile, in Zelvari territory, War Master Kreltok met with the Hegemony Council. They sat in a great hall on the Zelvari homeworld. Explain yourself, the High Sovereign demanded. How have these humans defeated our fleets? How have they crippled our supply lines? Kreltok stood before them. His head was lowered. They fight without honor. They use tactics we have never encountered. They attack from darkness. They strike and vanish. They are cowards. Cowards who are winning, another council member said. Our people are afraid. Our colonies are requesting protection we cannot provide. Our fleet is scattered and low on fuel. This is a disaster. The High Sovereign looked old suddenly. Very old. What are our options? Kreltok raised his head. We can still win, but we must change our tactics. We must fight as they fight, without honor. Without mercy, no, the High Sovereign said. If we abandon our honor, we abandon what makes us Zelvari. We would rather lose with honor than win without it. Then we will lose, Kreltok said bitterly. The humans care nothing for honor. They care only for survival, and they are very good at surviving. The room was silent. What about negotiation? A council member suggested. Perhaps we can reach an agreement. Kreltok laughed. It was not a happy sound. They demand our total surrender. They want us disarmed. They want observers on our worlds. They want us humiliated. Is that worse than extinction? The council member asked. Kreltok had no answer. The High Sovereign stood. We will send an envoy to the humans. We will explore their terms. If they are reasonable, we will consider them. But we will not surrender easily. We are Zelvari. We have pride. Pride is expensive, another council member muttered. I wonder if we can still afford it. Back on the Remembrance, Admiral Chen received a message. The Zelvari wanted to talk. Commander Walsh looked at him. What do you think, sir? Is this a trick? Chen considered. Possibly. But it does not matter. Let them talk. Let them see that we are not monsters, that we can be merciful, but also let them see that we are not backing down. What if they refuse our terms? Chen's face was hard. Then we take their capital world. We end this war. One way or another. Walsh nodded. The crew around them worked silently. They all knew what was coming. The biggest battle. The final battle. Chen looked at the stars. Somewhere out there, the Zelvari were gathering their strength, preparing for one last stand. He did not want more death, but he would not stop until humanity was safe. The Zelvari had started this war, but humanity would finish it. The Zelvari capital world was called Zelvara. It was a planet of red mountains and purple seas. Billions of Zelvari lived there, and it was heavily defended. Admiral Chen studied the holographic map. The planet was surrounded by defense stations, weapon platforms, thousands of military ships. Getting close would be nearly impossible. Commander Walsh stood beside him. Sir, our intelligence suggests the Zelvari are gathering every ship they have left. They are preparing for a final battle. Chen nodded. They want to lure us in. They know we want to end this war. They think if they concentrate all their forces, they can destroy us in one massive fight. Can they? Walsh asked quietly. Chen smiled slightly. Only if we are stupid enough to fight them on their terms. He pressed a button. The map changed. It showed a different route. Through asteroid fields, past abandoned stations, around the main defenses. We are not going to attack Zelvara, Chen said. We are going to appear to attack it. Walsh leaned closer. I do not understand. The Zelvari expect us to bring our full fleet. They expect a massive battle. So we will give them what they expect. We will send 70% of our ships toward their capital. We will make a lot of noise. We will look like we are preparing for the biggest battle in galactic history. And the other 30%? Chen's smile grew. They will take the real target. The Hegemony Command Center on Zelvara's moon. That is where their government meets. Where their military command is located. We take that, we cut off their head. The war ends without destroying their planet. Walsh's eyes widened. That is brilliant, but incredibly risky. If the Zelvari figure out our plan, they could destroy the smaller force. That is why I will lead the decoy fleet, Chen said. The Zelvari hate me. They will focus on destroying me. They will not notice the strike team until it is too late. Walsh looked worried. Sir, that means you will be facing their entire fleet with only 70% of our forces. Those are not good odds. Chen's face was calm. I am not trying to win that battle, Commander. I am trying to survive it long enough for the strike team to complete their mission. Sometimes survival is victory enough. The fleet launched 2 days later. The main force, led by Chen on the Remembrance, headed straight for Zelvara. They sent messages on all channels, announced their approach, made sure the Zelvari knew they were coming. On Zelvara, War Master Kreltok received the reports. His mandibles clicked with pleasure. Finally, he said, they come to us. They will fight with honor, and we will destroy them. His aide looked less certain. Sir, this seems too easy. The humans have been clever so far. Why would they suddenly become predictable? Because they are desperate, Kreltok said. They know we have gathered our full strength. They have no choice but to face us directly. Their tricks and tactics will not save them now. He turned to the communication system. All ships to battle positions. All defense platforms to maximum power. We end this today. The human fleet approached slowly. Chen watched the Zelvari ships gathering. There were thousands of them. More than his fleet could handle in a direct fight. Perfect, he muttered. Sir, an officer asked. They are committing everything to this battle. Look, they are pulling ships from the orbital stations, from the moon defenses. Everything is coming here. Walsh understood, which means the strike team has a clear path. Chen nodded. Now we just have to keep the Zelvari busy and try not to die. The battle began at 1400 hours. The Zelvari fleet charged forward. Thousands of ships moving as one massive wave. Human ships scattered. They did not meet the charge head-on. Instead, they broke into smaller groups, each group moving independently, attacking from different angles. The Zelvari tried to maintain formation, but the human tactics were confusing, disorienting. Every time they focused on one group, another would strike from behind. On the Remembrance, Chen coordinated the battle. His ship shook from impacts. Shields flickered. Alarms rang constantly. Engineering reports heavy damage, someone called out. We have lost main power to the weapons array. Switch to auxiliary power, Chen ordered. All ships continue evasive maneuvers. Do not let them pin you down. Another explosion. The ship lurched. Chen grabbed his chair to stay upright. Sir, we cannot hold this much longer, Walsh said. We are outnumbered 3-1. How long has it been? Chen asked. 45 minutes since battle start. We need to hold for at least another 30 minutes. Can we do that? Walsh looked at the damage reports. It will be close, sir. Then make it happen, Commander. Meanwhile, on Zelvara's moon, the human strike team moved in silence. They were led by Captain Maria Santos. She was the best special operations officer in the fleet. The moon defenses were minimal. Most ships had been pulled away for the main battle. Santos and her team landed without being detected. They moved through the Hegemony Command Center like ghosts. The Zelvari guards did not expect an attack here. They were watching the battle above, cheering every time a human ship was damaged. Santos and her team reached the main command chamber. Inside, the Zelvari High Council was meeting, watching the battle, planning their victory celebration. Santos activated her communicator. All teams in position, she pressed a button. The doors sealed. The Zelvari looked up in shock. What is happening? The High Sovereign demanded. Santos stepped forward. Her weapon was not raised. Not yet, Zelvari High Council. I am Captain Santos of the Human Defense Fleet. This facility is now under our control. You have two options. Surrender peacefully or we will take this facility by force. Kreltok stood up. His forearms reached for weapons. You dare. Santos's weapon came up instantly. I dare. Drop your weapons. All of you. Now. The High Sovereign raised a hand. Kreltok, stand down. He looked at Santos. You have come for our surrender? I have come to end this war, Santos said. Your fleet is distracted. Your defenses are down. We could destroy this entire facility. Kill everyone in it. But we do not want that. We want peace at what cost? The High Sovereign asked. The same terms as before. Disarmament, reparations, observers, and a new treaty. One that you will honor. Because if you break it again next time, we will not be merciful. The High Sovereign looked around the room. His council members looked afraid, defeated. He knew they had no choice. If we agree, what happens to our people in the battle above? Santos spoke into her communicator. Admiral Chen, target is secure. Repeat, target is secure. Above the planet, Chen received the message. Thank God, he muttered. All ships, break off attack. Transmit ceasefire message on all Zelvari frequencies. The human ships pulled back. The Zelvari fleet hesitated, confused. Then a broadcast came from their High Sovereign. All Zelvari forces, ceasefire. The war is over. We have agreed to human terms. Stand down immediately. Kreltok, still in the command center, could not believe it. No, we were winning. We had them beaten. The High Sovereign turned to him. You are a fool, Kreltok. We were never winning. They were stalling. While we focused on the big battle, they took our capital. This is what happens when you underestimate your enemy. He looked at Santos. We surrender. Unconditionally, Santos lowered her weapon. Wise choice. Your people will be treated fairly. Our medical teams will help your wounded. But the war is over. You have lost. On the Remembrance, Chen sat down heavily. His ship was badly damaged. Fires burned in several sections. Over 100 crew members were dead or injured. But the war was over. Humanity had won. Walsh approached. Sir, are you all right? Chen nodded slowly. I am alive. My crew survived. And the war is over. That is enough. He looked at the picture of his wife and daughter. They were still dead. Victory did not bring them back. But maybe their deaths had not been meaningless. Maybe this war would make the galaxy safer for other families. Maybe that was enough. 6 months after the war ended, Ambassador Elena Reeves stood before the Galactic Council once more. But this time was different. This time she stood at the center platform. The platform reserved for council members. The galaxy had changed. The Zelvari were no longer a threat. Their military was reduced to small defense forces. Their aggressive leaders had been replaced. Observers from multiple species lived on their worlds, ensuring they followed the new treaty, and humanity had been granted a permanent seat on the Galactic Council. Elena looked around the chamber. The same ambassadors who had ignored her pleas now watched her with respect, and perhaps a little fear. The council speaker stood. Ambassador Reeves, you have been chosen as humanity's first High Representative. Do you accept this position? I accept, Elena said. Her voice was clear, strong. I accept on behalf of all humanity, and I promise to serve not just my people but all peoples of this galaxy. She paused. We have learned much in these past months. We have learned that peace requires strength, that treaties are only as strong as the will to enforce them, and that sometimes the only way to achieve peace is to be willing to fight for it. The council members listened silently. But we have also learned compassion. When the Zelvari surrendered, we did not destroy them. We gave them a chance to rebuild, to change, because we understand that enemies can become allies if given the opportunity. She looked directly at the Zelvari representative. The new one, a younger Zelvari named Shannara. How are your people doing, Ambassador? Shannara stood slowly. He looked uncomfortable. We are rebuilding, High Representative. It is difficult. Many of my people are angry about the defeat, but more are grateful that humanity showed mercy when they could have shown cruelty. He paused. I must say something. On behalf of my people, I apologize. What we did was wrong. We started a war based on arrogance and pride. We paid a terrible price, but you could have made us pay an even higher price. Thank you for choosing not to. Elena nodded. Your apology is accepted. Let us move forward together. Not as enemies, but as neighbors who have learned from painful experience. Later that day, Elena met with Admiral Chen. He looked different in civilian clothes. Older, tired, but also more at peace. How does it feel to be retired? Elena asked. Chen smiled slightly. Strange. For 40 years I was a soldier. Now I am just an old man with too much time to think. What will you do? There is a memorial being built. For all who died in the war, human and Zelvari, I have been asked to help design it. I think I will do that. It seems right somehow. Elena touched his arm gently. Your family would be proud of you. You protected humanity. You ended a war. You did what needed to be done. Chen looked out at the stars. Did I? Sometimes I wonder. So many died. On both sides. Could we have found another way? Elena was quiet for a moment. I do not know. But I know this. You did not start the war. You did not want the war. You only fought to protect innocent people. That is not something to be ashamed of. Chen nodded slowly. Perhaps you are right. But still, I will always wonder. On Zelvari, War Master Kreltok sat in a small prison cell. He had been tried for war crimes. His sentence was life imprisonment. He would never be free again. A visitor came. The High Sovereign. Why have you come? Kreltok asked bitterly. To see what has become of our greatest warrior, the High Sovereign said, and to tell you something. The young are forgetting you already. They are learning about the war in school. But they learn about what we did wrong. About the dangers of arrogance. You have become a lesson. A warning. Is that the legacy you wanted? Kreltok said nothing. The High Sovereign continued. The humans could have destroyed us. They had the power. But they chose mercy. They chose to give us a future. Perhaps that is true strength. Not the strength to destroy, but the strength to forgive. He turned to leave. I hope you think about that. You have many years ahead of you. Use them to understand what you could not understand before. That strength without wisdom is just cruelty, and cruelty always has a price. 10 years passed. The galaxy was different now. More peaceful. The Galactic Council had more power. More respect. Treaties were enforced. Aggressive species thought twice before attacking their neighbors. Humanity's fleet remained ready. Always watching. Always prepared. But they did not need to fight. The memory of what they had done to the Zelvari was enough. No one wanted to be the next Zelvari. On a space station at Harmony's edge, a memorial stood. It was made of crystal and steel. Names were carved into it. 50,000 human names, and names of Zelvari soldiers who had died in the war. Both sides honored together. Because both sides had suffered. At the base of the memorial, words were carved. Simple, powerful. Peace through strength. Victory through sacrifice. Never again. Elena Reeves visited the memorial on the anniversary of the war's end. She was older now. Her hair was gray, but her eyes were still sharp. Admiral Chen stood beside her. He came every year. Do you think it worked? Elena asked. Do you think the war made the galaxy safer? Chen looked at the names. All those lives. I think it did. I have not heard of a single treaty violation in 10 years. Species are talking instead of fighting. Young people are growing up in peace. He paused. But I also think about the cost. Every name here represents a person, a family, a future that will never happen. Was it worth it? I honestly do not know. Elena put her hand on his shoulder. We did what we had to do. Nothing more. Nothing less. That is all anyone can ask. They stood together in silence. Around them other visitors came and went. Humans, Zelvari, other species, all paying their respects. The war was over. But its lessons remained. The galaxy had learned that peace must be earned, that treaties must be honored, that strength and mercy must exist together, and most importantly, the galaxy had learned that humanity was not to be underestimated. They were peaceful by choice, not by weakness. They sought diplomacy first. But when pushed to war, they fought with a determination that could not be matched. The Zelvari had broken the treaty. They had laughed at humanity's weakness. They had murdered without mercy. And humanity had shown them the true meaning of fury. But humanity had also shown mercy, compassion, the ability to turn enemies into allies. That was the real victory, not the battles won, not the territory gained, but the peace that followed. A peace built on respect instead of fear, a peace that gave everyone hope for the future. As the sun set on the memorial, Elena and Chen walked away. Behind them, the names glowed softly in the fading light, reminders of what was lost, and why it must never happen again. The galaxy was at peace, and humanity stood guard, ensuring it would stay that way. The sleeping giant had woken once, had shown its strength, and then had chosen to sleep again. But everyone knew it was still there, still watching, still ready if needed. That knowledge alone was enough to keep the peace. And so the galaxy moved forward, together, toward a future where treaties were honored, where disputes were settled with words instead of weapons, where different species learned to coexist. It was not perfect, but it was better. And sometimes better is enough. The story of humanity's fury would be told for generations, a warning, a lesson, and a reminder that even the smallest species can become the most dangerous when protecting what they love. The Galactic had broken the treaty. Humanity had struck back with fury, and in the end, both sides had learned what truly mattered. Peace, understanding, and the wisdom to know that the greatest strength is the strength to choose mercy over vengeance. That was humanity's true victory, and the galaxy's true hope.